Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Home Service Hustle. I'm your host, Jonathan Bannister, and today I'm with the owner and founder of Built for the Trades. It's an executive coaching system that helps owners that are thriving for company culture, help them unlock sustainable profits with proven strategies tailored for the trades business. They really want to help people build a self-operating system so that they can spend more time with their friends and family. I'd like to welcome Dan to the show. Dan Dowdy, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jonathan. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think there's a lot of business owners that are listening that may have first said, oh, another coach. But second, I think hearing the idea of having a business that can operate without them and do it successfully may have caught their ears.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of times when you're scaling any type of trades business, I mean, you always reach a point of capacity. And when you push through that capacity without the right systems, usually what comes out on the other end is lesser quality and work and communication with your customers. And I think that's one of the biggest fears for any trades business owner or any business owner in general is that you push past or you outgrow your systems, and the result of that is a poor quality service that you're getting out there.
So how did you get to this place, right? And most people that I've met that are in similar shoes of you, it was through trial and error and learning from their mistakes. And, like once they found that key that unlocked everything, they were like, you know what? Like if I would have known this 20 years ago, man, what I would have been able to grow my business to or sell it for or whatever. So like what got you to this place that you're doing what you're doing now?
Yeah. So I'm a second generation master plumber here in Texas. I grew up, that's all I really knew. And for 20 years had my own business where it wasn't until probably, I think 2010, I hired my first business coach. And we went from being a small family business to really scaling that business, $1 million growth years. And I just didn't know what I didn't know. And throughout the last 10 years I was there, I had multiple different coaches teaching me different systems. And so when a lot of what we do is kind of based off the EOS Entrepreneur Operating System. It's one of the best ones out there. But I tailored it for the trades. There you go. You got
Traction right there,
right above you. So I was able to take all the best pieces and tailor it for the trades, combine that with my training and the John Maxwell program and a lot of what he teaches, and really come up with the best systems to not only help business owners grow as leaders and help their team grow as leaders, but also help implement the right systems in the business to really scale it and have it self-operating. So to answer your question, I never thought I was going to be a coach. It wasn't until 2018 where I just had a radical life change and God kind of presented the idea of going out and helping other business owners in the trades build what I built, that I really kind of fell in love with the idea of working with small business owners and helping them achieve that success. And so I started Built for the Trades January 2020 with great relationships, went nationwide instantly. And we just really have a like one thing that we do for business owners is we take what people overcomplicate and we make it really simple, because simple is repeatable. And as a business owner, if you're always overcomplicating things, your people can't replicate that.
Right.
And so that's a big piece of what we do. We believe here at Built for the Trades, we're a community of leaders that just want to grow. I think everything we have in common is that we own or manage trades businesses, but we're wanting to do it with integrity. We're wanting to treat our people right, our customers right. And, sales and profits is a result of that, but it's not the first thing that we focus on. And so we incorporate, faith, family growth, fitness into our communities, and then also business. Business talk is always obviously what everything kind of narrows down to.
So what would you say is one of the most common challenges that you're seeing, like, between different types of trades and different companies that you guys work with? What is a couple of those common things that you consistently see that are a big issue in the business?
Man, marketing is always a big one. Retention of skilled labor is always a really big one, and just finding good skilled labor is a really a big one. And We can talk about any of those
Yeah.
because
So
marketing is always changing. It
so
has
I'm
been.
curious now, right?
Yeah.
So I want to take at least those two,
Yeah.
marketing and then the labor part of it.
Okay.
Knowing what you know, being a business owner, now being a coach for over 5 years, um, on the marketing side, how much of it is like what does that mean, right? I mean, because I have a phrase that I've coined that's called digital heroin, and
Yeah.
being a digital marketer, I believe that most businesses, not just in the trades, just globally, they're
Mhm.
addicted to digital heroin. They don't realize how addicted they are. Like they need leads, and really what they need is a better sales process, a better way to handle the calls, a better brand, a brand at all because they don't have one, right? Like they're
Yeah.
renting attention on Google and these other platforms.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious from your side, like when you say like marketing is a big problem, how
Mhm.
much of it is they're with the wrong marketing company or they have the wrong marketing strategy? And then how much of it is other things?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, marketing is so much bigger than digital marketing. It really
Hmm.
is in any organization. So I think the short answer to that is that most business owners weigh their results off of their digital marketing company that they're with,
Hmm.
and so some come in with a very small budget, if no budget, towards digital marketing, and they start working with us, and we can see big increases in just improving the budgets. Others have a big budget and have been doing digital marketing for a while, but times are changing. It's not as effective as it used to be. And there's always a certain point in marketing where you're ahead of the curve and then everybody's there with you.
Hmm.
And then, and so what we do is we help companies build marketing strategies. And I think first and foremost, most companies out there don't have a marketing strategy, don't really know what that entails, and don't even really know who their ideal customer is. And so just to without diving into like building your avatar and ideal customer, we'll just talk about strategy. I think a lot of companies really focus hard on the digital marketing piece and how do we get our phones to ring,
Yep.
but they don't really focus much on diversifying that strategy. And they also don't focus much on retention involved or retention to get those customers to call back. And they really, a lot of companies don't focus a whole lot on the community aspect as well. Like, how do we stay a big part of our community and show our faces all the time within our community. And so I think the first thing, there's a lot going on there, but for people listening out there, budget's important. Your digital marketing presence is definitely important, but there's a lot more to your strategy.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned the community part because that's the big thing that we're pushing hard on our clients. Is like there's a way to use digital with the community aspect, but like that making that human connection. And I think the more and more rampant AI becomes, the more
Mhm.
that those relationships are going to be really important. Like I've already publicly said, like as soon as I can buy one of Elon's robots, like I'll have one that'll be cooking and folding clothes and taking stuff off my wife's plate. But I will never be a person that's going to stand out in my underwear on my front porch and get sold by a robot. So I think like door to door sales is going to be more impactful in the future as more people get used to these robots being around. No
Mhm.
different than getting into your community. Go rent a food truck. Go to the HOA and go sponsor the events at the local ball fields and things like that. And then you can tie digital into it. You can geofence that area. You can make sure anybody that comes into that area where you are that you can lock onto their phones and go
Yeah.
back to their home when they get on Wi-Fi. And now you can get your ads and stuff. But I think a lot of people don't that goes back to that whole digital heroin thing where I think
Yeah.
like they don't like why do I want to go get a tent and pop something up and have to sit out in the heat all day when I can just go buy leads from Google or whatever. So
Yeah.
why do you think it's been that way? Because I feel like the community part was really big before digital got here. Like when it was just
Mhm.
the phone book and the
Mhm.
newspaper, there was a lot more people that were out shaking hands and kissing babies. So what do y'all do? Like, is that a mindset thing that you got to kind of restructure the way they think and feel about some of these events?
Yeah. So I mean, and the world has taught us a lot about how we operate, right? Like we're living in a day and age where we want instant gratification.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, we need to realize that that's where we're living as business owners. So it's easy to navigate towards paid ads because we know we're going to get instant gratification. But there's
Mhm.
always going to be a ceiling to what you can get out of that. So when you're thinking about the whole approach to your marketing, it really comes down to your leadership and your ability to be consistent with the systems that you implement into your business. I hear a lot of terms like, "Hey, Dan, I tried that," or "I'm going to try this."
Mhm.
And see if it works, but that's not really a marketing strategy. Like marketing strategy is knowing who you're targeting and the areas that you're targeting and building a strategy to get in front of those people as much as possible, as consistently as
Mhm.
possible is going to make up a really good strategy. So I think for a lot of business owners listening, you just got to ask yourself, like, first, do I have a strategy and a budget? But second, how consistent am I with showing up?
Right.
Because instead of seeing like I'm going to try to go to this event and pop a 10 up and see if it works. No, that's not the mindset. The mindset is this is part of our strategy. This
Yep.
is why we do what we do. And we know that, I mean, the result of it, and you know this, the result of doing all the different marketing pieces consistently is going to be lowering your cost per lead on
100%.
digital marketing and helping you show up more. And now that AI is coming into play, helping you show up on AI as well, because it pulls, pulls from all different areas on the
Yep.
web to be able to come to that conclusion. So it really, Jonathan, it comes down to people just need to lead better and lead more consistently towards their strategy for sure.
Yeah, I like that. So, everybody listening, just, hear the word strategy. It's not, I'm going to do marketing or I'm going to do this campaign. Like,
Yeah.
you need to have a strategy and you have to commit to that strategy. Um, I hear when you, like, it was bringing flashbacks, not good ones either. Like when you were saying, I've tried that or I've done that. And it's like, we've done Facebook ads, we've done YouTube, we've done, and I'm like, walk me through what you've done. Right. And a lot of times it's like the marketing company threw an offer out there on YouTube or on Facebook. And it's like, you're going to try to sell a tankless water heater, a new air condition. The only thing attractive about it was your payments as low as whatever. It's a finance offer, but it's to cold traffic that doesn't know you, like you, trust you. And oh, by the way, they didn't need you, because if they needed a
Yeah.
water heater and air conditioning system, they're going to Google. They're not going to
Mm.
Facebook or YouTube. Right now, I truly believe there's a way to sell people in those things, but it starts by educating them and providing value, and then sharing success stories of someone else that just got endless hot water and is so thankful for the beautiful install that you just did. And you're showcasing that. None of those of which are you asking for, click this, sign this, get this coupon, get your free estimate. But there is a time and a place that once you know, create this audience,
Mm.
indoctrinate them with the culture of your business and why you are so great, then you can put an offer in front of those people. But I think a lot of times they get it wrong. They want to flip that funnel upside down and go straight with the offer. And it's like, well, you typically don't, meet them on the first date and go to bed with them either. Like, so it's like, why do you think you deserve that same thing with your customers? But it's
Yeah,
right. It's that instant gratification. And that's
it
what
really
the
is.
paid ads, I think, has done, is it's created people this false belief that if I put $1 in, I deserve $5 back. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
LSA was amazing when it first came out, and then
Oh
it's
yeah.
continuously gotten worse and worse and worse. Um, Here 2 weeks ago, Searchlight put out some results of their PPC results for November,
Yeah.
for non-branded keywords only, and plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. They put out all three of them, but HVAC, the cost per acquisition for PPC in November across about 2,000 companies
Mhm.
was $897 and some change, right? Almost
Mm.
$900 cost per acquisition. It was
Wow.
840, 837 for plumbing, and electrical was like 747 or something, right? But I
Yeah.
don't think the average business owner in the trades has any idea what those true numbers cost, right? Like
Yeah.
they put a budget together based off of, like, in my opinion, like hopes and dreams or something. Because they're like, I'm going like, all right, you want to go from 2 million to 3.5 and your marketing budget is this, and the only thing you're relying on is digital only. Like, well, cost per acquisition on LSA, or like, where are you going to get these leads from? Right. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's like hard to have a conversation with people. So what does planning look like? What do you feel like this marketing strategy, like let's just take a $3 or $4 million company that's,
Mhm.
wanting to grow. Like, do you suggest that they map out and know exactly the revenue dollar that they're trying to get to and achieve, and they reverse engineer from that number? Um, or do you encourage companies to come up with this number? And where I'm trying to get at here is this: we'll have clients when we're doing our yearly planning, and we're
Yeah.
doing it all now,
Mhm.
and they will put how much they did this year in revenue and what they want to do next year.
Yep.
But then sometimes have learned over 11 years of doing this that you need to be very clear with them on, is this a pipe dream number or is this a must hit number? Right. And I'd
Mhm.
really like working with the companies that are like, no, this is must hit, because must hit means we're going to hire, train, and plan for that number. Like the
Yeah.
ones where it's a pipe dream, they go, well, I want to hit it, but they realize that come June, July, and August, where the majority of their revenue is going to come from, they don't
Yeah.
currently have the staff to be able to handle the work, right?
Mhm.
And so capacity's not there. But then I'm like, well, when do you plan on hiring these techs that just aren't hanging around on the corner waiting to come work for you? And it's like, well, I mean, we'll deal with that when it gets here, right? And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
so this is a
Yeah.
pipe dream number, right? So
Yeah.
walk through, what do y'all advise your companies that you work with on how are they putting together their budget, and what is that budget based off of?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jonathan. And I think the first thing is that our first response to a $3 or $4 million, here's what I want to accomplish, is really why. Why
Mm.
do you want to accomplish that? How does that better your life if you get to that point? And I think that that first question kind of stumps a lot of people, because they're like, I don't know, it just sounded good.
It
It
rolled off the tongue
sounds
good.
really good, but like, what's your home situation? Like, what do you want? Because a lot of times, I learned this early on in coaching. If somebody has a big dream of accomplishing a number, but yet they have other priorities at home that they want to accomplish as well, they don't match up. Like, if somebody wants to grow by $2 million in a year, yet they want to spend more time with their family and travel more, those two things don't really go together, especially in certain seasons of business where you're
Yeah,
still the lead person in charge of your business.
right.
And so as a coach, we got to make sure those two things mesh. But I think the next big thing that we help people do in this planning stage is actually draw out what it looks like to have this type of company, this size company. And we do that just through simple org chart drawing, and understanding that it's not about, this is the one time I'm going to say this as a leadership coach, it's not about the people you have in your organization. It's about the positions that you need to have in order to produce the income that you want to produce. Because, Bob can leave tomorrow and you can't do anything about that.
That's right.
But
It's
if
the
Bob
seat.
is your
It's
service manager,
not the person, it's the seat.
you still need somebody to be in that seat. And
Yeah.
so that's usually an eye-opening picture for a lot of visionaries, when they
Yeah.
can actually see what it looks like. And
And
then,
it's also, I don't know if you've experienced this, but
yeah.
when I've gone through a lot of the yearly planning sessions in our own company for EOS, it's
Mhm.
sometimes hard for the other leaders we bring in to separate a person from a seat. And it's like, no, 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 no. This org chart doesn't have a name on it yet. It's just a seat to make sure that we can fulfill these deliverables. And which seats do we need? Because Sally and Jim may not be there, or Sally and Jim may actually be in several of these seats, right? So
Yeah.
don't get confused on the person. And sometimes it's like, man, it's frustrating because they see it as a person. It's like, no, 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 no. It's not a person. It's a position.
Yeah, and this org chart is a system that you're going to do every year in your business. So it's repeatable, you're proactive towards it. And you're 100% right, is that it's hard for most owners and managers to separate the people within their organization. And I think that's where, we get caught up a lot of times, is especially if we have turnover throughout the year, we get frustrated, or we maybe have an underperformer that we really like. And so we just create this make believe position for them so we can keep them in our organization, when if you had that accountability, that org chart to go back to, you not only yourself holding, like holding yourself accountable to it, but also your people on your team or your coach can hold you accountable to the vision that you drew up at the beginning of the year when you were fresh, when you were excited, and keep you working towards that. So it's a really good system for really mapping out what it looks like to achieve that once you know it's an actual achievable number for your business. And then communicating that to your people will allow them to help you accomplish that vision, which is really big, because if you're an owner who's just keeps it in their head and you got this idea, it's hard for anybody to go out and help you accomplish it if they don't
Yeah.
know what it looks like in your business. So we like
So
doing those pieces for sure.
for those out there that
Mhm.
aren't familiar with what EOS is, and I liked something I loved that I heard you say was that y'all have taken like the best parts of EOS and combined it into something that fits better, right? Like
Yeah.
we've kind of done the same thing. There's parts of EOS we feel that just doesn't mold to what we wanted, and we've made some tweaks to it. Explain to people what EOS is and how y'all are utilizing that concept of this system.
Yeah, I mean EOS. I mean it's the entrepreneur operating system, but really what Gino Whitman's known for is helping people understand the importance of having a visionary and a integrator or implementer in the business and how they work together. And then as you go throughout the organization, everything's kind of founded on the vision, mission, the values. Everything's founded on, I think he calls it the accountability chart.
Mm-hmm.
Everything flows from there, and then once you understand that, it really leads into like your meeting systems within your business, and really how to have great agendas for your meetings. Because I deal with two different types of business owners: ones who typically don't meet at all with their team, and other ones who meet but call it a waste of time. It's because it's not really driven by the right metrics. It doesn't really have a good agenda. It's not really achieving any type of purpose. And when you're a leader in a business, and this is not just a management position, which is a leadership position, but just anybody within the organization, our goal is to give them the right information to make the best decisions independently of you, and to learn to own those decisions. And so the only way you can make or only way that you can know what decision to make is by knowing the metrics and knowing your job role within the organization. The second piece is you got to have that knowledge to know like this how this decision is going to affect that. And then the third piece is like teaching them how to own that for good or for bad, and how to learn and adapt to get better next time is really big. And so when we're talking about EOS, it's really just it really helps systemize your communication from the top all the way down through your organization.
And so a lot of that you're saying how important the vision not only is the leader understanding the vision that they want. So you asked the
Mhm.
question, or when I asked you, like, how do y'all go into these planning sessions when someone
Yeah.
wants to go from 3 to 5 million or whatever? And
Mhm.
you say the first thing y'all want to do is why? Why do you want to hit that number? Right? Because did it feel good? Is it an ego thing? Is it
Yeah.
because you need more money to your long-term goal of retirement? Whatever, right? Kids are
Mhm.
going into college and you need to make more money. So that you're helping them figure out their true vision for the company. And then you're saying that the a operating system of some sorts, whether
Mhm.
it's EOS or something similar, um, it starts with the vision of the owner, and then obviously him having the integrator or implementer that's helping him push that vision down
Mhm.
throughout the company. Instead of asking, does this happen? Because I know it does a lot.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's hard for business owners to push that vision without some kind of systems, ones that are just winging it on their own? Like, why is there such a disconnect between the top and the bottom?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that came to mind, Jonathan, was a lot of business owners have a hard time sharing their vision because it exposes them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if I never share my vision, my ego's not never going to be at risk. So I think that's the first thing we got to overcome as business owners is realization that we may or may not hit that vision. And we got to be okay with the fact that if it's a big enough vision and we don't hit it, we at least went after it.
Hmm.
And but why it doesn't channel throughout the organization, it's because we haven't taught our team, like our direct reports, our managers, how to communicate that vision throughout the organization. You're only one person. If you have 50 people on your team, there's only so much effectiveness you can have. So we not only need to teach the people, or we not only need to communicate that vision to our direct reports, but we need to teach them how to communicate it. And here's how we do this. It could be simple conversations in an interview where I'm pointing to my organization chart on the wall and I'm saying, here's where we're going. Here's some of the positions we're looking to fill. Or maybe a team member who's like, yeah, Dan, I got this $2 hour offer from your competitor. I'm kind of thinking about leaving. You can point to the vision on the wall and say, hey, remember what we're building here. Remember the opportunity that you have. So it'll help you retain your people, but even with like your vision, mission, core values, like the signs behind me here, incorporating that into your talk. I mean, one of my core values is progression. And so if I'm talking to somebody about getting better in their skill set or in their career, I can point to the wall and say, hey, one of our core values at Built for the Trades is progression. It's who we are, it's what we do. I want you to embody that and push past your comfort zone. It makes it less about me and more about the organization as a whole.
Hmm.
But I think that's where people get caught up a lot of times on like, and when I say, hey, you should be sharing your vision every day, they're like, I don't really, that doesn't really make sense. And what
Right.
I mean is that you should have, these things established within your organization, posted up on the wall on nice signs. And it's not only you, but it's the people in your organization should be talking about it often and bringing it up. And so going back to that meeting structure I mentioned earlier, every meeting we start with wins and we start with talking about either our vision, our mission, or one of our core values, or we'll talk about our organization chart because it really just kind of gets us recentered and refocused on what's most important in our business. And if you implement a system like that, it's naturally going to spread throughout your organization. Sorry about that. It's
That's okay.
naturally going to spread throughout your organization.
So we're going through 2026 planning sessions with our clients, and
Mhm.
I'm sure that's what y'all have been working on as well. What are some tips and some nuggets that you can give to contractors out there? We're into the year. This episode is being shot December 17th, right? It'll go out before the end of this year. But
Mhm.
what are some things that advice that you would give to a company that doesn't have a coach,
Yeah.
doesn't really have a system? They're kind of, they're in the lost land. And like what do you tell them that they should, baby steps they should be taking to work on hitting their goals for 2026?
Outside of what we've already covered, Jonathan, I think the biggest thing is just educate yourself. And
Okay.
what I mean is look at your numbers. Like look at your numbers. So if you have a good solid financials, you could simply look at your revenue, your gross profit, your net profit trends throughout the year and really look at it year over year of the last 2 years and just start to ask yourself why. Like, why are we seeing the increases, the decreases? What's going on? What are our seasonal times? And really, I think that really helps. What that does is help empower you with knowledge as a leader to start planning for 26. And so I think that's a lot of times underlooked whenever you're planning, because a lot of times we're just like, okay, I want to do this much in revenue, and here's all my goals, and it's going to be awesome, but you're not really listening to your business and what it's telling you. And that will allow you to start, planning not only for the org chart growth, but also the marketing and recruiting strategies, and all that comes into being able to grow your business. It'll help you with with the goal setting process as well. Really, just kind of filtering your goals and making sure it's the right goals for your business as you're looking out. So that's the first thing that comes to mind besides what we already talked about.
Okay. So now, as we're getting to the end of this, I'd like to talk about Built for the Trades
Okay.
a little deeper on what type of companies you guys work with. What is some of those programs? I saw the different programs that you have on your all site, but like,
Mhm.
walk us through what does that relationship look like working with you guys?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a trades business owner and you want to grow and you want to do it with integrity, I mean, there's going to be a place for you here. We work, I'd say majority of our clients are home service business owners or just service-based businesses in the trades. And we have anything from, one-to-one coaching all the way down to just being a part of our community. And so it depends on where you're at and where you want to grow. And when I'm talking to potential clients and they're wanting, a one-to-one coaching service, we typically won't take a client that into one-to-one coaching that's not doing at least $1 million a year in revenue. And it's really because they're not going to get the value out of it. So we have other programs where it's group coaching just for startup to $1 million. So if that's where you're at and you want to surround yourself with other good business owners who are shooting for that, we have programs for that. And then we also do mastermind groups, like peer group settings for business owners. And we just launched our new school community, which is really just it's just a place where people want to grow in their leadership, and they're in the trades and they own or manage a business. And we just come together, companies all across the nation that are just sharing insight on how they're growing in their business. So, like I told you before the podcast, I don't want this to be a sales pitch for Built for the Trades. I really want to add value, but builtforthetrades.com, pretty much we're very transparent with what we offer there.
I love it.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give to an owner operator that's listening on where to start on how to become a stronger leader?
What piece of advice? Really, it's just, if you want different results for 26, you have to do something different. And the best piece of advice I would say is you gotta focus on yourself and lead yourself differently. And it really just starts with how you start your day and how you take care of yourself. But at the end of the day, it's like if you don't have a system in place where you're growing through literature or podcasts, or you're taking care of yourself in a healthy way where you're getting some workouts in or eating healthy, or it could be who you're surrounding yourself with is really, really big. But it really all boils down to that piece, and then how you're managing your time. Because as you scale in businesses, like where you're focusing your time changes for every season. And I think what's hardest for most trades business owners, and this is why it's hard, is because if you started the business and you were in a truck running a truck, you're a technician at heart. Like, you were used to just fixing what was broke.
Yeah.
But as you scaled your business, if you're still that same technician fixing what's broke, you're always going to be the bottleneck in your business. And so what people don't realize is that I need to manage my time differently, and I need to spend time with my people. And my people are the ones that are accomplishing the tasks that I used to do, instead of me still being the person accomplishing the task for my people.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So you're leveling up in your mindset. And so joining a community like Built for the Trades, there's a lot of great coaching organizations out there. That's automatically going to help you level up. So I hope I answered your question. I know it's kind of a long-winded answer.
Oh, I love it. That was great advice.
Work on yourself.
I took from it, the owner also has to take a look in the mirror and take responsibilities for their company. If they don't like the way it's ran, a lot of it or all of it starts with them, right? And so being a better version of themselves is going to also spread throughout the company.
That's the only way to effectively grow a business. It's always easier to fix the people around you.
Yeah.
It's very hard to fix yourself. So I think, as you reflect on this year and you're looking into next year, what can I do myself to be better in 26? And if you can't identify it, then you're living in a fairy tale land. Yep. Because it doesn't matter how long you've been in the trades, how big your business is, how long you've been running it. We all have a place that we could improve upon. And so I think that's a really good message to share.
All right. I wrap up the shows with rapid fire questions. So this is the opportunity for the viewers to get to know Dan on a little deeper, more personal level.
Yeah.
First question is, who is your childhood hero?
Childhood hero, first person that comes to mind is Tiger Woods.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
He was probably mine as well. A famous person that you would invite to dinner to have a great conversation with. They could be dead or alive.
Oh, that's easy for me. Jesus Christ, no doubt.
I had a feeling you were going to say that, so
Yeah,
it was
no
pretty
doubt.
cool. Most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Man, I've done a lot of adventurous things. My biggest accomplishment, adventure-wise, was when I turned 40. I ran 100 miles.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
midlife. I don't know, midlife crisis. I've been into endurance sports for the last 20 years. I've done Ironmans. I've run the Grand Canyon. I've done a
Wow.
lot of fun things, but I always my biggest bucket list item was like I want to run 100 miles on trail. And so when I turned 40, I ended up doing that, and so that was like my sign off of crazy long distance endurance sports. But yeah, it's pretty
How
wild.
long did that take you?
It took me about 28 hours to do.
Wow.
Yeah, 28 hours.
That's
Long time.
that's amazing, and just sounds horrible. But
It
never.
was
I've
it
always
was pretty
hated.
much. It
Yeah, I've
was
always
pretty.
hated running. Yeah, I used to be a cop, and like I thought like all the running in the academy, and I used to cage fight, so I got my leg broke when I was younger, and I've got titanium rod and screws and stuff. So I was trying to go into the Marine Corps when I was younger, and uh, they didn't really want me because of my leg issue. They did take me training and running with them for several weeks to like prepare me, and then I couldn't get the medical signed off. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, who runs this way, like for fun? Like, the guys were like acting like it was the greatest thing. I'm like, this is horrible. Okay, if
Yeah.
what is something surprising that most people don't know about you?
Oh man, something surprising that most people don't know about me. I don't know. That's a great question. Man, that's a really good question. I would say I'm trying to think. Yeah, most people know. I think most people know that I enjoy the outdoors and hunting. So I don't really know. I don't really know how to answer that question.
I'll let you think on it.
I got to think on that one, Jonathan.
The next question I think is going to be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Yep. And if you had to make, you've made two career changes, but if you had to make another one today, what would it be?
I was just joking with my family the other day when they were, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I want to be a professional YouTube bow hunter. It looks pretty cool.
I had
Running.
someone on here recently that said they wanted to be a hunting guide. Like
Yeah,
that they just got back from this amazing hunt, and they were like, "This dude's he was retired," and they're like, "He's got the greatest job in the world." And I was like, "All right."
I don't know. I also feel like I had the greatest job in the world. So
Yeah.
I do enjoy the coaching aspect and helping businesses grow. But yeah, I also really enjoy bow hunting and the outdoors and all that.
And the last question I always wrap
Mhm.
up with is, what is Dan's belief in aliens?
Oh, no doubt they exist.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So,
You're
oh
still
yeah.
hunting? You're hunting?
I think our life is too short not to dream a little bit, you
Yeah.
know. And
I
so
agree.
I have young kids, and I just enjoy, never seen one. One of my life goals is to see a Bigfoot in the woods, but will that ever happen? I don't know, but yeah, aliens do exist, no doubt.
Keep looking, maybe
Keep
you'll find it.
looking.
Well, Dan, I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your knowledge and
Yeah.
your, 20 plus years in the trades, and would love to have you back in the future, and wish you nothing but the best.
All right, Jonathan. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man.